Good morning to you. It is Wednesday, May the 22nd. I'm Todd Duplantis. We are live at the HCCTV studios on this middle of the week. Good to have you with us. Got an interesting week ahead of us and a number of things coming your way in the show. But my co-host on northwest side of town, Montrose Cunningham, is joining me. Good to see you, Montrose.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
I'm good. I was thinking of something this morning when I saw you were going to be on the show. It seems to me like a few months back we were talking because Montrose is in a Prince tribute band. But it seems to me you mentioned something, correct me if I'm wrong, around this time that you guys are going to be doing a gig. Is that still happening?
Well, it wasn't with that band, but I was performing. I was supposed to be performing, yeah, in Katy Friday, but they had to call it because of possible rain, and there were so
Yeah.
many places that were roads blocked and power lines down and
Yeah.
all. So, yeah, it got
I,
rescheduled.
Well, when you do get it rescheduled, let us know. We'll make sure we get some folks out there because a lot of us here were looking to go on. I was like, wait a second, did it happen already? So,
Yeah, no, no. But when I reschedule, you will be one of the first to know. I
all
promise you.
right. All right. Well, there you go. We'll keep you up to date on that. Thanks for watching us this morning. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at 10 a.m. Mondays through Fridays, just about every weekday when HCC is in session. But Montrose, they can catch us anytime in social media and on HCC TV as well.
That's right. We're live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. I still like saying that. LinkedIn and on HCC TV at noon, 5 and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Montrose, what kind of scares me now is we haven't even reached hurricane season, which
Mm.
starts in, I believe, 10 days away or less than that.
Mm-hmm.
We've had two major storms in the last couple of weeks here in Houston. The last one, boy, that just swept across the city, left a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And Chief Timothy Ramirez from the office of the HCC Police Department is joining us now. Chief, good to see you. I know it's obviously must have been a pretty busy weekend for you and your team.
Yes, sir. Very busy. Had a good morning, everybody. Yes, sir.
We are not even in hurricane season yet, but we're on guard already. You've got some tips you're going to let our audience know about as we approach hurricane season. So Montrose will be with you in about 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to kick things off right now. First, it's Small Business Wednesday, and we're talking to an HCC partner about government contracting and more. Julie Irvin Hartman is a certified proposal manager and co-founder of B2G Victory. Welcome to the show, Julie. Good to have you with us. I think your microphone's still muted.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Now, I understand this subject of government contracts, getting businesses hooked up with them. It may sound dry, but it's a lot more interesting than that. A lot more goes on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I've been in the government contracting space for 20 years and actually started with the proposals for the Department of Defense and the privatization of military housing. So that's providing homes for our sailors, for our and our airmen. And so it's really exciting. And government contracting can not only be for small businesses, but for large businesses as well. And we have been successful helping many clients actually win contract with Houston Community College.
Well, I know like our procurement department has, they have fairs, it seems, every semester to bring in the business community so that they can learn about the opportunities with HCC. But what type of contracts are available with institutions like HCC and others for small businesses?
There are contracts and opportunities available not only on the local level, for example, with HCC, but on the state level, for example, with the Department of Transportation, Texas Department Parks and Wildlife, and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, or on the federal level with NASA, which is right down there, just south of Houston. So there are opportunities for businesses at every level and in every industry. We've helped a catering company win contracts. We've helped a construction company win contracts of all sorts of various sizes. So obviously the big $1 million contracts are the big sexy ones, but you could be a subcontractor on a really large contract and have a very successful business that way.
What are some of the big wins that B2G Victory has helped your clients with?
In the total of 20 years, we've helped secure over $5 billion worth of contracts. That's with a B. Most recently, we helped a company during COVID pivot from doing residential construction to government contracting. So providing renovation of homes, providing the ADA modifications of homes for the city of Houston, as well as the city of Missouri City. So that really helped him not only pivot his business during COVID, but also helped him scale his business. And now he has 5 different crews that are on multi-year contracts. So government contracting also helps the business kind of be stable and help with the ups and downs of the economy.
What are some of the most common mistakes that small businesses or any businesses may make if they're trying to do this on their own?
You know, we see a lot of businesses try to get stretched too thin and not really be focused on the products and service that they offer, as well as be very targeted on which government agency you want to do business with. So, for example, we're helping
Well, it looks like we're having some connection difficulties with Julie right now. Julie, can you still hear us? Yeah, we have lost her. She was, we're doing some connection, obviously remote right now, so we apologize for that. But if she can get her connection back established, we'll bring her back on. Montrose, we're going to have to pivot right now, but we were talking at the top. Did you have any damage at your house, Montrose? How did you fare through the storm?
Okay, you ready for this story? We got time.
We got time.
So that day was the first day in a while that I said, I'm going to work late, like really late. So I'm on the 4th floor here at the A-Leaf Hayes campus, and I see all of this stuff, and my whole wall is windows. And so I said, I need to go downstairs.
Wow.
So I went downstairs into a classroom, but I hadn't seen what outside looked like. And everyone was standing, because I said, well, maybe I'll just leave and go home. I've never seen wind like that in my life, ever.
Yeah.
It was just blowing everything around. They had to lock the doors because it was blowing the doors open. So long story short, it took me forever to get home because I went one way and power lines were down. So I went another way and there were trees covering this, all lights were out. I was stuck on the toll road for like 25 minutes just sitting in traffic. And then I get home. I live in the Woodlands, and everything was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it came through so quickly, but it left such a path of damage. I went out the next morning after the storm, walking around. I live in the Montrose area, and there were literally trees on top of cars in front of my, old oaks that had fallen on top of cars in front of my building on the street in Montrose. And then if you walked I went across to Buffalo Bayou Park, and trees across the paths everywhere, debris all over the place. But I got to admit, those folks at Memorial Park Conservancy, or I should say Buffalo Bayou Partnership, they had it down. They were clearing that stuff out the next day. So wow. I know a lot of cleanup had to happen. But, as we said at the top of the show, Montrose, we haven't even gotten hurricane season yet, folks. And I think that it's scaring us all. We want to bring on our police chief, and you got him standing by as well.
Yes, that's right. Got Chief Timothy Ramirez. Always enjoy talking to him, of the HCC Police Department. Welcome back to the show, Chief.
Hey, howdy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So how did you fare through the storm?
Well, I was like you. I worked late that day, and I wound up holding out underneath an underpass near Lyons Avenue and Cavalcade and watching the vehicles that sheltered down there get pushed to the side. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was it was a lot. So as we've been talking, that storm was really an eye opener, and hurricane season hasn't even started. HCC Resiliency Operations Center has courses to train first responders saying that Houston has had 7 disasters in 6 years, and that we need to prepare for the next one. And that was before last week. So let's go over some hurricane preparedness tips, starting with before the storms. What do you suggest?
Yeah, so according to just to make you all aware, according to the National Weather Center, hurricane season starts June the 1st and ends in November. And the most active months that we have are going to be August and September. And here in Houston, it's better to be prepared rather than not. And according to the National Hurricane Preparedness, that week was May 5th through the 11th of this month. Mm-hmm. But like you said, before it gets started, it's important to get to have a plan to get ready for a hurricane. So, everybody knows it's coming. And, in order to be prepared for that, you just need to have your own preparedness state of mind, like keeping your gas full in your vehicle, mm-hmm. Having your generators tested before hurricane season starts, purchase food items beforehand in case you're going to need it. And like I said, have a plan of action that you're going to do. This is just getting before the storm even gets here. So, we can do these things like right now.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned the thing about having gas in your car, because I was hit with that. I had, enough gas in the car, but I didn't plan on being stuck on the road for 25 minutes. So as soon as I could get off the road, I stopped and gassed up. And I'm glad I did, because the next morning, all the pumps in my neighborhood were at all the gas stations were out. I don't think people realize a lot of times how some of the other residual effects that go on because of this, because I went to the cleaners that morning and they were like, oh, you have to pay in cash because our internet is down. You just don't realize all these things that happen. So what about things, so we're talking about gas and that kind of thing, but what about more things about preparing your home? I know you mentioned generators, which is very important.
Yes, correct. So at your home, so you're already getting prepared because it's hurricane season. So you're going to go ahead and start now and prepare your house for the upcoming event if there is one. So what you want to do is make sure that you have boarding materials if you're going to need to board your materials, or if you have shuttering for your glass windows. That's very important because the glass breaks very easily. You see what happened to downtown Houston.
Yes.
So it's important to have boarding materials now, because if you wait until that time, Home Depot, Lowe's, and all the other hardware stores are going to be jam-packed with people and possibly sold out.
Yes.
So let's make sure to have some type of boarding materials. Trim your trees as much as you can and brushes around the home, because those will cause damage to your house. Clean the gutters and your drains in your house. This way you'll have the rain that is coming down, immensely will flow out quicker, and you want to have that backup in your gutters or in your streets. So just make sure to clean all that stuff out in your house as you're preparing for the storm. Be sure that all the debris out in your yard are either tied down or closed inside like a shed or something like that. This way it's not flying around in your yard and damaging, your neighbor's yard or your house. So it's just important to make sure that you have your house as secured as possible for the impending storm. And like I said, it is going to be hurricane season soon, so it's better to prepare for it now than later, because then you're going to wish that you've done it and get stuck out again, waiting along the lines and probably not getting the supplies that you need.
Yes, Chief, I'm sitting here literally writing things down because I haven't cleaned my gutters. I can't tell you the last time I actually cleaned my gutters, and I know that's going to be a honeydew that I have to do. But anyway, so also if we had to evacuate from our home, what are some suggestions you can make as far as what you need to have in place for planning to evacuate? I know a lot of times people don't think about things like certain medicine that they have to take, and keeping a list of things, phone numbers, just in case the towers are down, or you may not, have your phone charged up you might have to use someone else's phone. What are some things that you need to know and plan for when you're evacuating?
Yes, sir. So a lot of times what happens is individuals say, okay, we're going to leave. The major problem with that is that they don't have a plan of where they're leaving to.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's important that you have an evacuation plan, and that meaning that you have to have some place to evacuate to. So just make sure that when you do plan on evacuating, just make sure that you have a place to go to. Either, you're going to leave the city and go to a relative's house or a friend's house, someplace out of the hurricane zone. This way that you're not, driving directly back into it. So you just want to make sure that you do have an evacuation plan and know where you're going, the location that you're going to be at. And if you do decide to leave, make sure that you tell people that you're leaving and where you're going to. The destination that you wind up at may not be a destination where you should have gone to in the first place. So just make sure that you are aware of where the hurricane is moving and what the flow is. This way you're not going toward the direct path of the hurricane. You want to go away from it. So just make sure that you have a plan of where you're going, contact people of where you're going and where you're going to be, and make sure that you have gas and food in your vehicle just in case you get stuck. Like you say, you plan on going to a hotel out of the hurricane zone and it's already booked. Well, now you're going to have to go find another place to stay, or you may have to spend a night in your vehicle. So It's just important to have that plan together if you plan on leaving.
Yes. So say we decide, okay, in the last couple of minutes we're going to hunker down and we're not going to leave. We're going to stay home. What should we keep in mind if we're going to do that?
So I've ridden out a storm before when I was in high school, the real bad one. And that was, I was in high school, so as a teenager, it was very exciting. But for me as a teenager, right? But if you plan on staying, it's very important that you listen to all the information that you can get through an AM radio. Normally it's AM 740 will be the one that's broadcasting, and keep that information available with you, because you may be in a potential area that you don't want to, that you can't stay in anymore. So just, make sure that you're listening to the radio and getting updates as much as you can. And if you do plan on staying, just make sure that you are prepared to stay, that you have your medications, and that you have provisions to put you over, water. If you have the gas generator, that you have extra gas to run that generator, and just, be aware of what's going on, and that you have the items that you need to sustain, 3, 4, 5 days at your house. It's going to be hot. There's not going to be power. There's going to be, creatures around in the area. Mosquitoes going to be out. So just be prepared for the misery that you're going to put yourself in. So it's just if you're going to ride it out, just make sure that you understand what you plan on staying for. Yes.
All right. Well, and if there are any Gen Zers that are watching this, I'll explain what AM radio is later on. Those of you. Okay. So thank you, Chief Timothy Ramirez of the HCC Police Department. We'll have your info in our post after the show. Thanks a lot for being here.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
One thing I learned, Montrose, during this last storm, and especially times before, I don't have cable television home, haven't had it for years. I use a 5G, in essence, hotspot as my, internet service, and I stream everything. Well, fortunately, I got my electricity back about 10 hours after it went down. I had my hotspot plugged in and everything was streaming. I could watch local TV. I could watch all of the things I needed to keep up with in the news. And a lot of my friends who are depending on cable, they still, in some cases, don't have their cable back. Nope. So, that's one thing to consider. your electricity is going to come on. I remember after Tropical Storm Ike, quick example. I was fortunate. I lived in Stafford at the time. I had a house, had some heavy damage to the house, damage in the area, but my electricity went on literally within 8 hours of the storm passing through. It was miraculous, but I didn't have cable for the better part of 3 weeks. So all I could get was channel 11. That was the only thing that came in on the broadcast signal. So folks, keep in mind, you may be able to watch TV on your phones, but if you want it, you got it. Don't depend on your cable system, because that may come on a long time after your electricity's back on.
Right. And I'm one of the few people, I think, who still owns, I still have a transistor radio with the antenna.
Yeah.
So
hey, I have one of those too. We all need them at times, and we learn, unfortunately, going through hardships like this past week. Anywho, we've got a few announcements. I know you guys have probably heard from your students, but this new FAFSA application, apparently it's just a mess. It's causing some problems with our students. They're having hard times filling it out. The government rolled this out. There were glitches in the system. So we've got people on standby, ready to help you in our financial aid department. Don't let this new FAFSA application, if you're having problems with it, go in person to a campus. In fact, our financial aid is hosting more in-person FAFSA Nights Thursdays in May. The next one is happening this Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. It's at various campuses across the system. Go there. Go directly to your campus, call the financial aid department. They are there to get you registered, and they're going to make sure you get this FAFSA form filled out. Check our posts from after the show for more information. And we've got a One College exhibition happening as well.
Yes, this is always fun. It's our Instagram One College exhibition, Spring 2024 exhibition. Instagram is once again our gallery's walls for an exhibition that features studio classes from all colleges in the HCC system, and it's really interesting to look at. So the viewing link is available through May 31st, and the info is will be in our post after the show.
Did you know we have a Grammy winner here at HCC? I didn't know this.
I did.
You did. It's Nate Robinson, and I guess he's out there at the Northwest College, right? That's right. You know what he won a Grammy for?
I don't know. I just learned probably end of last year that they called him a Grammy winner.
Yeah.
And he's an expert on what you're about to talk about, and I had no idea.
Yeah, we're talking about Ableton workshops. It's this summer, HCC will host 2 of these workshops on music theory, creating beats, sampling, remixing. June sessions will be led by Grammy-winning HCC professor Nate Robinson. July will also be led by Ableton certified trainer David Sharma. Now, they're happening 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays, June 8th and 15th at the HCC North Forest campus, and out there in your neck of the woods, Montrose, July the 6th and the 13th at the HCC's Northwest Spring Branch campus. Registration information will be available on our post after the show. And we've got citizenship courses we're offering as well here at HCC.
That's right. Fridays and Saturdays, HCC is currently offering citizenship courses at 3 campuses for only $25. Individuals can take U.S. citizenship preparation classes. So from 6 to 8 p.m. on Fridays through June 14th at the East Side campus, and 9 to 11 a.m. Saturdays through June 15th at Northline and Braes Oaks. And you can check our post after the show for more information.
Are you a parent who is going back to school? Well, United Way is offering a session called Women Who Rock, and we're not talking music. It's a scholarship opportunity. It's for childcare. That's right. Check our post after the show for the registration information on Women Who Rock. And fall registration is open, folks. You can now sign up for the fall. Also, we got some summer classes available as well. We got 5 ways to learn. 2 of them are completely online. 2 of them are hybrid. And then in-person classes happening literally across the district. But you got to sign up to go. You can't just show up. You've got to sign up and register for classes. The in-person ones fill up pretty fast. Go to hccs.edu/apply. So tomorrow on the show, we feature a member of HCC's Quality Enhancement Plan, also known as QEP. to talk about my HCC Pathway tool and much more. And later this week, Southwest President Dr. Madeline Barillo-Hopkins will be joining us to discuss the upcoming Workforce Development Symposium and Job Fair, which will be happening at HCC's Missouri City campus. All that's happening this week. And I think we'll get Film Friday coming up as well. So, Montrose, good to have you with us this morning. Glad you got home from campus. That was a long drive, and I'm sure something you never want to do again.
No, I do not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Montrose. We'll see you again. And thanks all of you for joining us on Up to the Minute. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Sade is here hosting the show live at 10 a.m.
All right.